Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in making this fun and easy Brick Road bracelet. Remember, it just requires some stretchy string, a couple multi-hold beads, and some extra glue and scissors. If you do need any supplies, check below me to shop with us online. Gather up your materials from around your studios and let's get started. So to get started with this design, I'm using the 0.8 millimeter Stretch Magic. I like 0.8 or 0.7, either the Stretch Magic or the Stretch Cord, because it's going to allow me to go through a lot of check holes as well as gemstone holes, since they're going to be 0.8 millimeters. I try as much as possible to use the thickest size of stretch string that I can, because obviously it's stretchy, so it's eventually going to kind of stretch out. This bracelet is going to require the use of 3 pieces of stretch string that I'm going to cut an additional 3 inches longer than my wrist. So if I know I want my bracelet to be 7 inches, I'm going to cut 3 10-inch pieces. This is going to give me enough at the end to hold on and tie knots. We are going to try to separate the knots so they're not all in the same locations. And then also you want to have handy some scissors, and I'm going to be using some Loctite Ultra Gel Control Glue. Putting the materials aside, I've already actually strung one whole piece of my bracelet. What you want to do is you want to string what's going to be your center line. I'm using Potomac's tile beads, and they are a metal tile in the rose gold. And I'm also using the Potomac's brick, which is also going to be a metal, and it's in the antique silver. I've done a pattern of my brick, tile, brick, going through the first hole of each, and then a 2 millimeter crystal, and that's in the metallic bronze right here, and then also 4 millimeter onyx beads. I have 6 of those on, and the amount and size that you do will vary based upon your wrist. So if you want this design here, I have 5 groupings of my Potomacs and then also my beads in between. You can also use some fun designs like some of the bezeled chatons if you want. Anything with a multi-hole will work for this project. Even if you want to use your super duos or your Tilas, you can use those up as well. What I've done to begin is cut that 10 inches of stretchy string, use a bead stop to open and close and hold the beads in place, so the stretchy string. I've strung on my design knowing that I have it at 7 inches. It's going to be a little bit big for my wrist, 7 1/4, but you want to make sure when you do your stretch that it can actually stretch over the largest part of your hand. I've strung on my pattern of my brick, and then my tile, brick, and then my beads. And now what I'm going to do is start with my second piece of my stretchy string. Already I've gone through and added my seed, or my 2 millimeter and then my 4 millimeter in the same pattern. What I'm going to do now is go through and go down my, you'll notice that I've started this here, and I'm going to start in a different position along the edge here. The reason that I'm doing that is because I want to have the stretchy string tied off in different places. So I have my pattern here that I started with, and then what I'm going to do with this pattern, pulling this to the side, is I'm going to pull my 2-hold tile bead down. I'm going to let the bars stick up. I'm going to add a new bar for my design, and like I said, there's so many different options you could do. I'm going to sew through my tile with my stretch, add my next one of my bars, and then pull this tight. When I pull this tight, you will be able to see how the bars are going to sit, and now I'm going to add beads in between. In between the rows, I'm repeating the exact same amount, so the next thing I'll do is a 2 millimeter, my 6/4s, a 2 millimeter, and then repeat to get this nice kind of brick road look. I'm going to repeat that the whole way down the bracelet, and then come back to add in my 2 side rows. It's going to end up that you are going to have a total of 4 pieces of your stretchy string. Sorry, I think I said 3 originally. You're going to have 4 pieces of your stretchy string stretching throughout the entire bracelet. All 4 of those pieces we're going to try to knot in different selections in different places right next to our big beads, so we can try to hide the knot in between. After stringing the original 2 rows, what I did was tie it into a knot. I always like to work from the center out. And you'll notice that the knots that I've tied here, I'm going to do it really nice and tight. I have my glue sitting by. I'm going to not glue these until the very end. I did, however, tie them, and when I tied them in the same unit, so meaning the same space here, because the knots on each end are going to then have those sit exactly separated. You'll notice that the knots are going to pull out, so you want to make sure to pull nice and tightly on your stretchy string. And then also we are going to do that dab of glue. Naturally, stretchy string is going to be very slippy and wants to slip out. I'm not going to do the glue until the very, very end. Now what I'm going to do is do my exterior 2 strands of my bracelet. So you can see how this brick road is starting to work up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to string my bicones and my 4mm round pretty much in reverse order, then along each of the sides to add into the design, starting with one side and then finishing with the other. Once you're done stringing the exterior of the rows, and my pattern is 1 4mm, then I have 8 of my 2mm, 1 4mm. You're stringing through your brick 2 more of your 2mm, and then continuing that with that same pattern going on each side to make this nice cuff stretchy bracelet. When you are working with the stretch string, it is important to do square knots on the knot. So you can see this is big for my wrist, but I'm going to slide it on so you can see. And I have not done my glue yet, so I am going to glue it. And you can see how much bigger it is for me with all of those pieces of string hanging on. But there's so many different options for this design, and how many beads you do in the middle, how close you put those bricks, as well as if you put some on the other strands too. And really have fun, like I said, pick up some Montes, pick up some crystal chatons that are in a bezel setting, and have fun using up some of your older beads creating this design. Remember, when you do go in and you glue and cut down your strands, make sure it's fully glued before you do cut down. When you are doing that square knot and you're holding your strands, you are going to make sure that you are doing a left over right, and you hold that knot, switch the threads in your hand. So the thread that is in my right is now going in my left, and the thread in my left is now to my right. When you do a knot again, you're naturally going to do a square knot, because generally speaking, whatever strand you hold in your right hand is the one that you're going over the top with. So all I need to do for my bracelet, and it actually would be kind of fun further up as an arm cuff or even adding in more of the bricks, is go ahead and glue the ends and then chop off the little extras. I love when I work with stretchy bracelets like this, because it makes you realize how quick you can do these things, how nice it is to have that quick finished product, and also the variety of beads that you can do this with. So have fun exploring and creating your own brick bracelet. Remember, if you do want to check out any of our Potomacs, need some stretchy or glue, check out the links below to shop with us online. As always, if you haven't yet, just like this inspiration piece, make sure to click on that little button in the corner to subscribe to get regular updates from us here at PotomacBeads. Have fun re-energizing yourself maybe, and pulling out that stretchy string and having a great time using up the ends of materials and trying out a different challenge, putting down the thread and needle or wires. As always, thanks so much for watching, and enjoy your Brick Road bracelet.